6:52, time for the morning sprint.
We start with Julian Seawright with the latest on an alert day forecast. Julian?
That's right. We still have that winter weather advisory that will be in effect until noon, but expect lighter snowfall throughout the later parts of this morning. And this is what we're seeing as we're tracking the snow on our radar as of right now. The system is going to continue to push itself east along southern Wisconsin, but the heaviest band of snow is still into Dane County, but we can see just a couple more rounds of heavy snow. But behind it, we're going to be looking at some light snowfall throughout the later part of this morning, and it's starting to clear off as we get into the rest of this afternoon. Just know, though, for driving concerns, it's going to be slippery, and there are snow-covered areas throughout much of southern Wisconsin. So, again, make sure that you're giving yourself extra time and taking it slow throughout the morning. Now, for those who do have school this morning, we are going to be seeing the snowfall start to clear off, especially as we get into the afternoon. But going into the bus drop-off, it's still going to be around freezing, but we are going to be seeing some quieter conditions. Over to you guys.
All right, thank you, Julian. To the crisis in Ukraine now. Russia continues to advance toward Kyiv while the severity of the attacks gets worse. Since Russia invaded 2 weeks ago, more than 1.5 million people have fled the country.
TikTok is restricting some features in Russia in light of President Vladimir Putin's new law penalizing what he calls fake news. The social media app is suspending live streaming and new content from Russia for the time being. Under a new law, anyone that spreads what Russia terms misinformation about its military could be subject to a 15-year prison sentence.
A convoy of truckers protesting COVID restrictions has made its way to Washington. The convoy traveled through Wisconsin this weekend, passing through Madison Saturday. U.S. Capitol Police say an emergency declaration is being issued there to make sure that officers are able to operate and respond as needed.
As COVID restrictions are lifting, frontline workers, survivors, and those who died from the virus are being honored in D.C. This COVID-19 Hope Quilt was displayed in front of the Lincoln Memorial over the weekend to mark 2 years of the pandemic.
Bowlers around the state were bowling for colon Sunday. The UW Carbone Cancer's 21st annual event was yesterday. 5 bowling alleys in Wisconsin, including 3 in the Madison area, participated. All the money will benefit GI cancer research. Even if you didn't get a chance to go bowling yesterday, you can still support the center's efforts by donating online.
A new study of overweight and obese people finds making small changes, such as slightly reducing calories or taking 2,000 more steps a day, may not help much over the long term. Researchers in Canada found the small change approach led to reduced weight for 6 months and a year, but by 2 years, it was no more effective at preventing weight gain than monitoring alone.
Dr. Seuss Enterprises enlisting a diverse group of up-and-coming authors and artists to write and illustrate new books with some previously unpublished sketches of creatures. Last year, the company shelved 6 older books with racist caricatures.
As it starts to warm up, a reminder for ice fishers this morning: you now have to remove your shanties from state waterways. The DNR says that applies to inland waters south of Highway 64. All shanties statewide need to be removed by March 15th.
And before we even get to that warm-up, we're back to more wintry-like conditions for us. The snow is what we've been tracking all morning, is what we're going to continue to track this morning until we get into our afternoons. We can see a bit of heavier bands of snow still continuing to sweep through southern Wisconsin, especially Dane County, as it has an easterly track. But behind it, you can see some more of that lighter snow and some flurries are going to be on the way for us before we see this event ending itself later into this morning. Now, as we take a look, as we can see, as it starts to clear back out, going into around lunchtime, we could be seeing some pop-up light flurries, but for the most part, it's going to taper off, and we're looking at quieter conditions going into the evening commute. Again, for areas west or south of the Dells, we are looking between 3 to 5 inches of snow to be expected for us, especially for these heavier bands of snow that are starting to sweep their way through. Into the Dells and to the northeast, could be seeing about 1 to 3 inches of snow. But just going to planning out the rest of the day, just know that the afternoon, we're going to be seeing much more quieter conditions and even more improved conditions for us as well. And we're going to be seeing after this quiet conditions going for Tuesday and Wednesday, but more snow coming in for Wednesday or for Thursday and Friday. Thank you all for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure. We'll have more news over the next hour.